shows that every country, practically every country, and most importantly, Africa, want to become urban. Everybody want to live in a city. Basically, that's what I see. Some of those colors there in Africa, the dark yellow and the red, and the majority of the yellow, they are moving to 75%. So everybody want to live in a city. How do we cope with this? We need to plan. Yeah, and as a result of that, engineer, we think of master plan of our cities, of our village, of our community, looking at the transport, water, power, telecommunication, and at the end of the day, sustainable and environment. Very, very important. Water also is an incredible thing, and we don't realize how wonderful water is to us. Majority of the earth is covered with water, and despite that, some parts of the world don't have enough water. Why? Do we want our environment to be like this? The Dockland was like this about 20 years ago until Margaret Thatcher turned it to be a very incredible area of London, where free zone and banks suddenly start to move in and start building high. So this is the kind of thing we need to change. Rio, you would like to live in a jungle city like this? No? So we need to do something to change this. We cannot afford for people to be living like the way they do. Well, this is one of the things people are doing all over the world. Pallets, I'm sure you've received a bag of bags of sand in your own house when you're doing your construction. Comes in a pallet. And what you do with the pallet, you throw it away. Some people are actually making building out of it.
I want to understand when it comes to Nigeria, because it's such a major player within Africa, is what's being done when it comes to looking at recycled waste produced through construction within Nigeria. Are there any programs or initiatives that are currently taking place at the minute in Nigeria?
So I think we'll just take questions first, and then we'll have the panelists think about their answers. Yes? Secondary, please.
All right. Good evening. My name is Nick Brown. I work for an environmental company called Borough. I'm not just an administrator, but I also help out with a volunteer in a charity called REAP that teaches African and Caribbean history. I have a number of questions for some of the people on the panel. Thank you for your contributions, it's been interesting. One for the Honourable Hassan Mohammed, Minister of Trade and Investment for Nigerian High Commission. How do you assure energy is affordable for the masses if it is privatised? Now that privatisation can drive up quality and bring in new ideas, but how do you balance that against a poor population that has to buy into energy? The other question I have for Nate Pete, congratulations on your company, by the way. I just want to say it's commendable to empower women, but how do you ensure women are not overburdened with primary financial responsibilities in the home if you do not also empower men? Now, I don't know if you empower men or not, so I'm asking the question, so it's not an accusation. And the other question I had, was for Steve Larkins, the CEO of African New Energies. Sorry, I answered that one, sorry. The other question I had was for Dr. Sunday Popola, President of the Energy Forum for Nigeria and UK. I've got a few concerns about sludge manure. I'm not completely comfortable with the idea of using human waste to fertilise food and stuff. So I'd like you to expand on that. And also, one more question. Congo has enough energy to power Africa and Europe, but Kinshasa, which is the capital, does not have stable electricity. That's in DRC, it's from Irene. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to understand when it comes to Nigeria, because it's such a major player within Africa, is what's being done when it comes to looking at recycled waste produced through construction within Nigeria. Are there any programs or initiatives that are currently taking place at the minute in Nigeria?
questions first, and then we'll have the panelists think about their answers. Yes? Secondary, please.
All right. Good evening. My name is Nicky Brown. I work for an environmental company called Borough. I'm not just an administrator, but I also help out with volunteer in a charity called REAP that teaches African Caribbean history. I have a number of questions for some of the people on the panel. Thank you for your contributions. It's been interesting. One for the Honourable Hassan Mohammed, Minister of Trade and Investment for Nigerian High Commission. How do you assure energy is affordable for the masses if it is privatised? And that privatisation can drive up quality and bring in new ideas, but how do you balance that against a poor population that has to buy into energy? The other question I have for Nate, Pete. Congratulations on your company, by the way. I just want to say it's commendable to empower women, but how do you ensure women are not overburdened with primary financial responsibilities in the home if you do not also empower men? Now, I don't know if you empower men or not, so I'm asking the question, so it's not an accusation. And the other question I had, was for Steve Larkins, the CEO of African New Energies. Sorry. I answered that one, sorry. The other question I had was for Dr. Sunday Popola, President of the Energy Forum for Nigerian UK. I've got a few concerns about sludge manure. I'm not completely comfortable with the idea of using human waste to fertilise food and stuff. So I'd like you to expand on that. And also, one more question. The Congo has enough energy to power Africa and Europe, but Kinshasa, which is the capital, does not have stable electricity. And that's in DRC, it's from Irene. So that's it. Thank you.
Yes.
London, and you have the means to influence them. This is your contribution that I mentioned earlier. We need to do our part. They have contacted 20 and over, and only 6 are so far quite willing. The job does not stop. We need to pursue it. And some of us will pursue from our front where possible to get them back. And this is all about accountability. Whenever our leaders are called to come and account, it's a problem. And it doesn't matter where they are based, whether they are based in UK or America. The moment you invite them to forums like this, they know you are going to probably have a go at them. But then we have every right to question them and find out answers to some of the issues and help them find a solution. So those of you who have networks within your origins from Africa, if you have your missions here, please help this group to reach out to them, because this is the second session, and I believe there will be more. And the more we continue, the news will get out. The media companies, these programs are, if you want to broadcast this on air or on TV, it will cost a lot of money. And I believe for now, probably there isn't that pocket to send. So if you have any means to support this group, it is going to go towards a good cause. And we ask you to be kind in your support, so that you can send the message out. When the message is out and they are hearing about it, there's no way they won't come. I'm sure they will all make effort. Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Hous. I'm a PhD student at Imperial College, and I'm also a research analyst.
Sorry. So you're an Imperial student at...
Yes, I'm a PhD student from Imperial College, and I have a question for Stephen and Jim. So, we all agree that the gap in education in Africa is in the off-grid areas. And from the graph you showed earlier, it showed that the levelized cost of electricity using solar and pump currently is not competitive in this gap. But I'm asking 2 questions. Did you factor in transmission costs, like the cost of building transmission into that? And 2, did you factor in the subsidies fossil fuels currently receive? That's solar energy. And was that the gap is still big?
So basically, he said that the question was for Stephen, and that solar was not competitive and whether he had factored in transmission costs and subsidies. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And for him, so you said you met a lot of barriers in fact.
Yes, you met.
So where do you think the greatest leverage is? Where do the opportunities for skill lie in the United States?
Okay, well, thank you very much for that question. I think it's as good a question as anyone this evening. The transmission losses within Southern Africa are around about 7 or 8%. So if you take a quadrupling of the cost of stored solar and you take 7 or 8% off, it's not going to, unfortunately, make much difference. But your second question was a much more important question, and that is about subsidies. If we were to create a subsidized model where investors could make an acceptable return against other investment opportunities, it would cost a third of the Namibian government budget. That is simply unsustainable. That's why we had to make the profits to pay for it. So
Yes.
sadly, it just is not possible yet. I do believe technology will change, where that will no longer be the case though. It will take a few years.
Just to really follow up on the second question in terms of opportunities. Part of the mission, the greatest actually opportunity lies with those who are looking to get out of the rural area. And most of the reasons why they want to get out of the rural area is to get into a city or a town where they believe they're going to have a better life. The problem is that when they get into the city and the town, the competition is so stiff that they don't end up having a better life. So it's actually grabbing those type of individuals that are hungry for greater. You see, where there's a hunger for elevation, when you attach, let's say, upskillment, education, they grab it, they grasp it, and that's where the greatest opportunity is in rural areas.
Yeah.
I think this will be our last question, and then I will let Naima take the last question.
Hello, my name is Irene Esso. I'm French, but originally from Congo.
Okay.
Nicola here asked a question about DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. We have the capacity to provide electricity in whole Africa and some parts of Eastern Europe. Is there any initiatives in order to, in Kinshasa, for instance, I was there in December. I was just appalled by the fact that every almost hour the electricity goes. And the people are not well informed because they can't watch the news. I mean, it is unbelievable. We have all the natural resources, copper, coltan, which are making all the fancy phones that we have here. We have gold and diamond, everything in it. But still, this country is being forgotten, and yet it doesn't even make the headlines. I was there myself in Congo in December. I decided to set up a foundation just to empower women and street children. I've actually bought land there, and I'm actually building a healthcare center for the people who can afford, who cannot afford basic healthcare, like we have here in the UK. I'm not going to compare it with the UK, but we just failing this country, and external companies are going there, exploiting the mining without actually giving back to the country. My father was actually a victim of this system because he was a lawyer in France. He was called to work there as an advisor to the Prime Minister in charge of mines. But because he was bringing so many reforms in order to help the populations, and he was assassinated as a result of that. So that's the reason why I'm actually following his legacy to try and set up and help these poor people who are kind of forgotten.
That question, but I think that would be our last question. If I could put that to the panel.
You're right. The Inga project that you're referring to, which is a hydroelectric project, could have a profound effect on Africa's electricity supply. And the tragedy you talked to about your father really does highlight why it'll be very difficult to make it happen. If you are a country, take the Ukraine, and Russia supplies you with gas, and they threaten to switch it off, you will work pretty hard to make sure that you have energy independence. Now, unfortunately, the DRC is politically unstable, and a lot of African countries have voiced their concerns about the political risk associated with the Inga project. Do they want the whole of Africa to be dependent on a place that is politically unstable? And I believe that your average person doesn't even want to depend, let alone on a foreign, far-away government. They don't even want to depend on their own government. They want to generate their own electricity and be able to be in charge of their own energy destiny. So are large hydro projects the way to go forward? I don't believe they are.
Well, I believe that those governments as well, when you say that it's politically unstable, I believe that we actually supporting those governments.
I'd like to add something briefly to that in answering your question. When we started this whole initiative, in fact, we brainstormed about how we will be able to go over all these kind of hurdles. As to when you decide to go to various governments, whether you like it or not, the issue of corruption, even though in policies, legislation, it looks so beautiful on paper, but in reality, it's so far from it. So our strategy was that we need to get through to the private sector, who only think about money to be able to, either when you invest, there's a ripple effect in it for them. So when we get them interested, you will still have the government still coming in, whether to seek the glory part, or still have them to come in to get the actual initiative to help their people, those who want to. So for 2015, we decided to focus on the real estate industry. For the real estate developer, he has about 200 properties to sell. For an average property, say in Ghana or Nigeria, and let me use Ghana as an example because I'm from Ghana and I have more knowledge within the real estate industry. To sell a property is £45,000 without constant supply of electricity. If he is able to liaise with, say, Genex or African New Energies or any solar company to add value to his property, that property that he is selling for £45,000, he will be selling it 100% in for about £90,000, give or take. So whether you like it or not, with or without the government, on a private base, he will be able to make his money. So we need to get these people interested. When we liaise the alternative energy sector with the real estate sector, we will also be able to get these technologies into our various African countries. But then the issue is, how will the private supplier be able to get them when he has to meet the middleman who has to pay another middleman and then get all these solar panels into the country? When you go to when you read most of the legislation, most of the policies, it says this is what we say, you can come in, so many beautiful things. But reality, and I still touch on reality, is so far from what is happening. So we need the high commissioners, the government people, the politicians to come in to say that when you come in, we will be able to protect you. This is what the law is saying. You do not have to see the middleman before trying to help us solve the issue. So for Congo, that's not a political issue, and I think that's where Stephen was coming from. If you will be able to introduce us to the Congo High Commission, that's okay. But then we would like to touch base with the private sector, get them interested in how they can add value to their properties, and from there we will be able to take it to a greater level. In that same level, we will be solving constant electricity supply as well as urban electrification, for those rural electrification for those people at the base level.
As an African, I think I even struggle to think of any country in Africa that is politically stable. To be honest, because if it's not on the surface, it's under the it's underground somewhere. Although some areas are grave than others, that is the differences. Now, what we need to look at is what can we do to get them to understand that we in the diaspora community have an interest and a stake back home, that we want to encourage companies to come in, and what are the doors they can open for them to make things easier for them to come and invest. A typical example in Ghana, there is this silly rule called you can't bring a car that is over 10-year-old. But then when our honorable friend here was showing pictures in Nigeria, there are cars that are 35-year-old and still in operation. So this is the disparities around our communities and the way they turn the rules to suit them. And it's regrettable because some countries have very grave circumstances like the DCR than others. But we all need to encourage each other to come together. All I believe in here, living here today, I believe that we should live here with one conviction and a voice. And as long as that voice is powerful and it continues to increase rather than decrease, then we are going somewhere. If we start to diminish our presence and our voice, then the hope is not there for us anymore. So I hope we will all live here, and when we are called again to that forum, hopefully we'll have huge attendance from the missions, and they will be able to come and support our initiatives. Let us always remember that any other country in Africa that is now free, those that fought were not in their 100. Those that stood and started talking about, let's be in charge of this, let's do this, there were probably few from each country from here and there before it happened. So our duty now to get energy into Africa is happening from this room, and in the years to come, in the few months to come,
just in cognizant of the time, I would like to then close the panel, but I would kindly invite Lord Taylor to say a few words, if you would. He is a former barrister and judge, one of the first black members of the House of Lords, and he became one of the youngest people in the upper house. He has served as a university chancellor as well, and I know a mentor to Nathaniel on the panel. If you would kindly say a few words, and thank you so much for attending our event.
Privileged to be here tonight. Thank you for inviting me. I have a very simple mind, really. There are key words that we mentioned tonight, and we need to focus on those words: leadership, mentoring, and partnership. Because without those words, we won't get anywhere. There are problems, but when you have a vision, the sort of vision and energy that, for example, Matt has, we will win. We are victors, not victims. And so often the image of the black man and woman is that of victim. But you know what? Times are changing. Africa is the richest continent in the world below ground. But above ground, we have the poorest people. That dynamic has to change. I went to Nigeria 4 years ago to speak. I spoke at a church. There were 250,000 people that turned up. They were not just hungry in the stomach, they were hungry for education. There's no question, laziness is not an issue there. They're not lazy, they want to reach the top. But the church had a private plane. The pastor had a number of horses. And I won't go on, you know the point I'm making. But I believe there are answers. There are a number of young business people, men and women, around Africa now, in Nigeria, Uganda, the Congo, and they're coming up through the system. Many of them were educated in the West, but their heart is in Africa. So please remain defiant, be of hope, don't be depressed, because times are changing. I'll just give you one little example. A few years ago, I was going to the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington, D.C. And I was just about to go into the hall, and there was a young black man coming to the hall at the same time. We said hello, we shook hands, we exchanged cards. When I went back to the hotel to fly back to England, I looked at his card because I didn't really take in his name. Because he told me he wanted to get to the top and he wanted to change America, and I thought, then I looked at the card and I said, with a name like Obama? Forget it. He made it, I just leave you with that thought, he made it. Many years ago, I had the privilege of being invited to have lunch with a great man, a real hero. There were 12 of us that were invited, but unfortunately the invitation to have lunch with Nelson Mandela went to Lord Taylor of Blackburn, not me. The day before it was discovered it went to the wrong Lord, and Lord Taylor of Blackburn very graciously stood down. And I sat in front of this great man. Great not because of his physical strength, but what was inside him.
Okay, my name is Lydia Olet for Greenwichtv, and I'm here today with Stephen Larkin, the CEO of African New Energies. All right, so Stephen, tell me, what inspired you to start this organization?
My roommate in the first year of university didn't have any electricity until he reached university, and he has gone on to be one of the most respected experts in his field, a highly technical field. And he was the only person from his entire village who managed to get to university. And the thing that most struck me when he spoke to me for the first time, and I asked him what he was most looking forward to at university, and I was thinking you'd think women and booze and parties, because that's what I was thinking about. But he said, this is the first time I can study at night in my own room. Now, there are 546 million sub-Saharan Africans who have no electricity in their houses. And I realized on the first day of my university that I needed to solve that problem. That's why I was put on earth, was to make sure that by the time I retire, everybody in Africa does have electricity. And that's why we started A&E.
Okay, but do you think that's possible, that everybody in Africa will have electricity, really?
Absolutely. And this is what is so remarkable about the A&E technology. If you can find natural gas that the oil companies cannot find, that is the cheapest way of getting large-scale electricity. It's also very profitable. And that enables us to fund, out of the vast profits that we are making for that country, to be able to fund the universal rollout of solar electricity to individual households. And this is not theory. We are proving it in Namibia, and we are starting that.
But you've just in one country, Namibia. So how many years is it going to take you? Because you know we have over 50 different countries in Africa. Right now you're just in Namibia, right? So how many years is it going to take you? Like you said that you're going to supply electricity to every country in Africa. I think that is so impossible, don't you think?
Look, it's not going to be one person doing this.
Okay.
What we are going to do with our technology is give that enabler, that natural gas that's currently stranded, to the country, make them know where it is, prove it up, put the big plant in place, and the country itself will have the money to be able to solve its problems internally. It won't have to go with a begging bowl to the House of Commons, because it will have the cash itself, and say Ugandan or Kenyan or Nigerian companies are going to be able to come to the UK, not asking for donor funds, but asking the UK why it is going to give a better price than China.
So does this give a big window for us to invest?
Absolutely.
And if I was to invest, if I was to invest, am I safe? Or is there a risk? Am I taking a risk? Or?
Look, you are taking a big risk.
Okay.
Yeah. This technology is in the process of being proven.
Okay.
While we are pretty confident that it is going to work, in fact, increasingly confident, it is still a risk. And I'm simply not going to try and tell you that this is not the money from your pension. This is that little bit of risk money at the top of your portfolio where you want to make 100 times your money. But you're okay if you lose it.
Okay.
And we are so lucky because the British government has helped us in a profound way.
Okay.
They've given us enterprise investment scheme status, and that means that your tax, your PAYE that you paid last year, if you invest a certain amount in A&E, you'll get 30% of that back from last year's tax that you've already paid.
Okay.
And if A&E, if you say sell a property and you've got a capital gain, you'll get another 28% back. And if A&E were to fail, I very much doubt it will, but it is risky and that could happen.
Okay.
Then you'll get another 28% on top of that.
Okay. So even if you decide to invest, you're not really losing anything.
You will lose some, but the vast majority of the loss will lie not with you, but with the taxes you've already paid and lost.
Yeah.
But this is the key thing. We succeed, you could make 100 times your money and you won't pay a penny of tax on that.
Okay, so if I decided to invest today, or people who are watching this decided to invest, how do you get in contact with you? Should you just
You can contact Africa New Energies.
Okay.
And you can also contact our brokers, our FCA regulated brokers, City One Securities.
Yes.
And our corporate finance advisors will be very happy to assist you to make the investment.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. What I actually wanted to ask you, when you were talking today, when you were giving the speech, I heard you say that your heart is in Nigeria, and I actually wrote it down because I say, why? Why are you just focused in Nigeria and Lagos as well?
I think you've got to be very focused in your areas of interest and spectrum. My real passion actually is entrepreneurship, and you can find that in countries across Africa. And that, I think, is a great way in which the future for Africa can be built up on the hard work and inspiration of young people who want to start and have an entrepreneurial career, start their own business, and grow the future of the country. I focused on Lagos because that is a major city. It has a great potential to be a well-structured town, a well-structured city for the future. But it's not just there. I think the lessons that we can learn from that, the impediments that entrepreneurs have, access to finance, the way in which tonight we've heard, access to energy supplies, the freedom to build yourself a business free from corruption. Those are issues that are pertinent across African countries today. And my view is that we can start in Lagos and build in all the other areas the sort of rules and regulations that we need to make entrepreneurship thrive.
Okay. But when you're in Nigeria in general, where do you find more corruption? Is it in government organizations or private sector? Or you're not going to answer?
Well, I don't go seeking corruption. I go seeking inspiration. Yeah. And, I think one of the things, as a British politician, what I want to look at is how can the UK government be useful? Now, yes, we use money. Then the Department for International Development uses money to help development of markets and things. The government also, in the UK, we have in the City of London, we have legal skills, we have finance skills, but we also have one great asset in the United Kingdom, which is the people who came from Africa. You know, over generations we brought technicians, we brought nurses, we brought engineers, we brought doctors, and them and their children and their grandchildren are a tremendous asset we have in this country. And obviously they're looking to say, how can they make their mark in the world? And if the UK government can do more to tap into the energy of Nigerians here, Ghanaians here, people from the Congo, Kenya, or all that, I think we will be in a much better place to strengthen the links, because in the end, across the world, wherever you are, you're still my brother or my sister. And we should be having a government that recognizes that and pull everyone up together. And today we focus on energy. That's a tremendous part of the recipe that we need. And let's build from that and look at all the other things that we can do.
Okay, so do you work in any other countries, only other countries in Africa, or just Nigeria?
I look at all things. I don't as I say, I'm more looking at what can I bring? My background's in business, and I love entrepreneurs. And I've worked in different parts of the world. I've worked in the Philippines and Korea. I spent time in Bangladesh. What I want to look at is the spirit of people. That entrepreneurial spirit is common everywhere in the world. But there are barriers. And the UK government should be looking at ways it can help reduce those barriers so that people have the chance not only to earn a good living for themselves and their families, but to employ other people so they can have a good living for their families, to develop their skills. Entrepreneurs isn't the full answer, but if you can release the talents of everyone, then entrepreneurship helps us do, then I think we can build a better future.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, Nathaniel, you're the co-founder of GenX?
That's right.
Okay, what is GenX?
GenX is a renewable energy company that focuses on social mobilization of youth and women in particular. We do it in several different ways. We manufacture solar devices, but we teach young people and women how to build it themselves, so they can actually go out and install it into people's houses. They can fix it when it breaks down. It means that they can elevate from poverty because they have an income. So by teaching them, it enables them to come up. We've also got the commercial arm, which deals with the direct sales to distributors who then can scale the product. But by empowering people that are on the ground to fix, it means we have a technical workforce immediately on the ground. So essentially that's what GenX is. We're a manufacturer of renewable energy products. We also have a social aspect. It's a commercial business with social impact, and we're about making profit for good.
Okay, I saw mobile phones, I saw little lights there that you were showing us before, and now as you say teaching, do you have like a school that they come and they learn, or you just go to villages or communities and teach the youths? How do you do it?
Well, the model changes in the Caribbean. What we do is we take them from the rural areas and bring them into like a university which has all the equipment there. So we'd actually pay for their transport and we pay for their accommodation. They stay there and they actually assemble most of the devices there. Where other communities whereby we have maybe a town centre whereby we can get the equipment in to a local town that's near a rural village, maybe a 3-kilometre drive or a 5-kilometre trip. That's how we can train then the people in rural areas. And again, we take them from the rural area, we bring them into an area where we can train and develop them in a classroom type of space, working with our partners, and we're able to actually deliver our program.
So how many countries in Africa have you gone to?
Well, we've got our head office is based in East Africa, in Kenya, but we've got product in Tanzania, in Malawi, also in Ethiopia. We've also got product in Haiti, on the other side of the world, and also Jamaica, the Caribbean. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. So you say Kenya, so do you go there yourself, or when you say Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, do you go there yourself or you send someone to go there? Because I just want to know if you can speak a little bit of Swahili as well.
Well, I'm in Kenya often. I've been to Kenya maybe 13 times. I've got to go to Kenya again in a couple of weeks. I've traveled extensively in Africa, Nigeria, Abidjan, South Africa, North Africa, East Africa. I've traveled extensively in Africa. Yeah, so when you diffuse into the ground, you must know it, because in Tanzania they speak Kiswahili. And you have other even parts of Uganda sometimes even speak Kiswahili. So it's a very good language to know. So I would say jambo, habari yako.
Okay, thank you very much, and I'll say asante.
Asante sana.
Okay, asante sana. Asante.
Yeah.
Okay. You are the executive or the co-founder of this company?
Africa Alternative Energy Summit and Exhibition. Yeah, we set this whole initiative, one, to create awareness, to bridge the gap between investors, alternative energy suppliers, and then government. We try to look at it from so many perspectives, from the investor perspective, from the government perspective, and then from the supplier perspective. The whole thing is, with 2015, we are trying to focus on alternative energy supply with a focus on the real estate industry, because we are a startup trying to get through to the High Commission, the various governments. So far, it's proving a little bit difficult.
Yeah, I heard you say that actually. Yeah.
When we try to look at it from the private sector, we will get investors interested, and then we also get alternative energy suppliers interested. Yeah.
So would you say today's event was a success?
I think it's more than a success. I should be jumping, maybe. And then unfortunately, I don't drink, so get good water. And then keep thanking God. But it's just a step. There is more to do. We are creating the awareness. We had our first event in the London Chamber of Commerce, and then we've had this one here in the House of Commons. In August from 10th to 13th, we are having the bigger summit and then the exhibition. We have three main focus, where we are creating the talks, the seminars, and then in the near future create the training, because what's happening is there is a need for it. As much as we are trying to create projects and then innovations and then so many things within the energy sector, we need to train people, and that's what we seek to do, that added on value. And then we also want to do the research. We have PhD students on board, really learned people on board to do the actual feasibility studies in these countries, what each country needs. One thing is, what Uganda has, the opportunities there, is far different from what is in Ghana or what is in Nigeria.
But today, actually, I saw that you're focusing more on Nigeria, because there's more, because I know someone from Cameroon was actually saying, why are you, the focus, all the focus is in Nigeria, even though we had some people in the room that were not from Nigeria. We had people from Kenya, from Uganda, from Ghana. Yes, there was someone who spoke from Ghana as well about the energy in Ghana and the opportunities that they have in Ghana, but you are more focused on Nigeria. So would you say that today was more on Nigeria, or Nigerians came to represent their country? Like you say, that if you want your country represented, you have to come and talk about your own country.
I should say that, just as you said, our audience cuts across all the African countries. It's not just Nigeria. We went to almost 20 high commissions, sent invites to almost 20 high commissions, and we had very few replying to us. We had Nigeria, we had Uganda, we had Zimbabwe, showing keen interest in talking about the opportunities they have in their energy sector. The reason why maybe you may say maybe we were focusing on the Nigerian sector is that, one, we had the energy trade minister there who was able to articulate the very projects that they have within Nigeria. Unfortunately, the other commissions were not able to come. We had someone who was representing the Ghana commission, even though not from a political angle. He's just a chairman, and he can only say what it is, but will not be able to say what exactly the government has, the very projects that are in depth within the Ghana as a country. So tonight was not just a focus on Nigeria, it's a focus on the African continent. We shouldn't lose the fact to that. It's a focus on Africa. We have an issue, we have a gap, we need to find solutions to, and that's what all that tonight's event sought to address. Review the policies, find what exactly is happening, deviate from the very thing that are on paper, cut across the realities, and then find a realistic solution. That's all we sought to achieve.
Of how you're going to network yourselves outside there to everybody to know what you're doing, rather than the same people coming in all the time, because those people, they've made it already, they know what to do. So how are you going to network and actually meet the youths as well? Because we have youths who really want to invest in all these things.
I think that's where you come in, the media comes in. We have done our part, we have done our small might to bring all these people together, but then it needs to go out there. You need to project it. We will continuously do our part, but then if the media fails to report these important issues, then it means our stories wouldn't be heard. So we need your help, we need you to tell our story, and then bring that kind of effective change across Africa.
And somebody also spoke about unity in Africa. We need to be united in Africa. So if you want to prosper, if you want to see these things forward, if you want to say electricity, because someone thinks or said, which I can believe that there'll be electricity in all over Africa. I actually disagree with that because I don't really agree with that. But anyway, if we unite together as a nation, we can do anything.
Achieve it. If not just uniting as a continent, aside we uniting, we also need to have one voice. Determine what comes in and then what goes out. And I think at the end of the day, we'll be able to achieve what we need to achieve. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Look lovely. And tired, cold in this nice weather. You have got a big jacket. You've got. Kind of summery. Thank you. So you are as well the co-founder and the director of operations. Okay, so tell me, what is your responsibility in the organization?
Well, what I do basically as a director of operations is to see the operation side of the business actually grow. I kind of liaise with the most of the suppliers and the investors and also the delegate to see, a smooth running of the organization and to see how they can actually probably invite them and also talk to them about what we actually do, what we stand for, which is creating an awareness for alternative energy. We focus on Africa. So that is basically what I do, just to see that everything runs smoothly, it's glitch-free, there's nothing wrong going on. And, I think it's actually paid off, so I'm doing a good job in a way, so.
Okay. And do you work with a lot of youths? Because I've had a lot of youths being on board, this organization saying they work with youths, do you work with youths as well? Do you encourage a lot of youths to get on board?
Well, I would say I'm actually a global leader. And I'm always about change, about impacting people's lives positively and also to empower people. So yes, I do work with youth. In my community in Nigeria, I do work with youth. In my place of worship, I also do as well. And obviously in my school when I was actually in the university, I was trying to, in a way, it's sort of to see how we can actually give them, show them the light, show them the way, the possible way I can. So if I have people that actually need something, and I know some people that know something, then I'll see how I can actually connect them together. And most of the time it's actually with the youths because they need some sort of direction. We need some sense of direction.
Leaders of tomorrow, like they say.
Exactly, yeah. So we always have to liaise with the elders and people that actually know about these things to see how they can actually guide us. And it's actually been really worth it, as we've been doing a good job, so far. And obviously, but we need more help, we need more support, we need more people to help us. So yeah.
So how many years have you been going on? How many years did all this start?
To be honest, we're AAESE, we only just started last year.
Last year? Wow.
Last year, but then I think we've been able to grow so, massively well in a really short period of time because we know what we want to do. We want to create change. We want to see things happen. We just don't want to sit down. We are achievers, we're believers. And we think there's no point dragging and planning, because if you plan to fail, you play to fine. And also, if you just keep planning and planning and planning, you just keep staying there for a very long time.
You believe in walk the walk and talk the talk, rather than just talk and
exactly. So if you get an idea or if you think about something, just do it, just get out of the way and get it done. To be honest, when we started, we didn't actually see the vision, we didn't know where we were going, we just thought we wanted to do something. And we picked, myself and Naima, we came together. What can we do? We need to create an awareness. Okay, let's do it.
And you hear that? That is so awesome. Just two women came together and thought, let's do this. And 1 year after, they have 2 events already. This is your second.
It's actually not even a year yet. We're not even up to a year. We're still under what? We only just started mid of last year. Wow. And we started meeting people and then talking about this and then setting up meetings. We actually, to be honest, we actually got people turn us down. That we're thinking, okay, which was quite challenging. He actually gave us some sort of boost to say, do you know what? We want you to hear what we have to say. Despite the fact that we see getting all this negativity, we're like, okay, we actually turned that into positivity to give us strength. And that's why we kept going.
Because so people turned you down, but you still marched forward. You still marched forward. And I think you've done a good job. And you have another event in April?
August. Our main summit is in August. But before then, we've got few embassies that have approached us and also investors and suppliers to say, why don't we have like a sort of round table, something small, because of something we've done. They think we can actually do it. We're like, okay, why don't you organize something small and see how we can actually come together and support it. So we might be having one real soon, but we don't have
for the August one.
Event, yes.
Okay. And how do you get your word out so fast? Because the event was actually packed. There were no chairs left for people to sit. Because somebody told me that you're expecting just 100 people, but that was more than 100 people. So how do you get your word out?
Power.
Also 2 months. It took you 2 months to organize this?
took us a month to organize this. It took us a month to organize February's event. And then between February 25th to March 24th, we had to organize this one. So I've actually lost so much weight. We've lost weight, which is good, natural losing of weight. We've not really slept. We've just been thinking about how can we get this done, how can we do this, and, just powering our efforts in trying to make things happen. And, it's actually, it's good. It's good. I mean, like you said about, within 2 months, we were able to organize this. We use social media. We tried to talk to people, so much networking. We had to go to so many events just to keep selling ourselves to people, like, this is what we do.
And you go to events as well. You go to other events as well to see what people are doing in the events, to see what you can borrow from them, or you can, okay.
And the thing is, I mean, for my side, I'm actually an event organizer. Okay. I organize both social and corporate events. And I have a very strong relationship with the Nigerian government, Nigerian embassy. So I was able to use that to actually, in a positive way, to actually see how I can actually get, people through there, and then with my link, and then with Naima's link, and then our team members tried as well. So kept pushing it, happening to I belong to like few committees, so push it through all the committees to say this is what we're trying to do, and then, what go around, it happened.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And just for everybody out there, I just want to say that I know sometimes it gets hard, sometimes things get hard, but you have to push. You don't just sit down and, like you say, like Sekita said, that you've been let down by some people, you've been turned down, but you did not stop. You kept on pushing. So this is a word of encouragement as well for today, because I've been really inspired by 2 women who just sat down and brainstormed together, and they said, yes, we can do it. And it's not even up to 1 year, and they've done 2 events already, 2 successful events already, and now they've got another one in August. But before the August, you say you might have something again. So everybody who is watching today, this is just an inspiration that we can actually do whatever we set our mind to do. Yeah? So is there anything you can tell people just for encouragement?
What I would like to say to people is this: if you believe in something, if you have an inspiration, no matter how small, just try and focus, just try and put your energy in it. Try and see how you can actually build it into something really, really massive. If you get people to turn you down, don't get turned down. Do not listen to negativity. Turn that into positivity, because those people that turn you down will always come back to you and say, well done. Well done to you. So it's about, going up there, pushing yourself hard, try your best, put your efforts in it. Talk to anybody. Small, young, whatever color. Talk to anybody. Let them see what you have. Let them see the passion in you, burning from within you. And trust me, you will go places. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much.